Oh, Lord.
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
I mean, you can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, I'm from Brooklyn. Hey, get us any.
Glenn Miller, he's in the mood, I'm in the mood, and hopefully all our co-hosts are in the mood here to talk a little sports today as we kick off tonight in the Northeast Professional Sports Show. I'm your host, Matt. To your left, my right, Sonia Pearson, Our Lady of Sports over there on our channel. Down underneath me is the Philly sports guy himself, Pags, who comes in and talks a lot about the Eagles, and Monday we'll get to the 76ers. And we got a new guy on here that we decided to let on.
He ain't new to me. He ain't new to me.
Well, I gotta hang out with this guy all the time.
he's new to some of our audience that, I mean, he's on our channel. He has like 4 different shows, including on Pags with Coast to Coast. But to our audience for this show, he's a little new. Bo Crouch, who, again, as I said before, is one of the most professional commentators and announcers we have on Northeast Streaming Sports. So good evening to all of you, and let's get ready to talk a little bit of sports. How y'all doing today?
Doing
Good.
Great.
How come I don't ever get the introduction as the one of the most professional guys? Why is it my co-host?
I guess
You don't watch our shows back, do you?
No. I mean, you should see it, Sonia. You have Pags on one side, Jay McLovin on the other. In the middle, they have Bo, and Bo looks like he's always ducking as they're trading insults.
Well, I mean, someone has to moderate that.
That's a bad seating arrangement.
So anyway, Pags, let's get to the Eagles. Eagles are going to Brazil for the first time in NFL history, as they are going to be. They haven't had their opponent named yet. Their first game is against Dallas. I don't know if that means anything or not. Maybe they play Dallas there, maybe they don't. But
they're not going to play Dallas. They're not going to play Dallas there. That's I'll tell you, it's between 3, maybe a 4th team, and I'll tell you, it's going to be either. I thought it would be Carolina, but Carolina's got a game in Germany this year, so that's not going to be them. It's not going to be Jacksonville because Jacksonville's traveling. I thought maybe Pittsburgh, but they're going to keep that in Pennsylvania because that's too good of a rivalry. And that really puts it back down to Atlanta, Green Bay, or possibly Cleveland.
Okay.
My thoughts are that it's going to be Green Bay.
All right. Well, yeah, that's very 2 historic franchises. That would be nice in Brazil. Brazil is a very dangerous country, though, Pags. I mean, there's a lot of killing and kidnapping. So I would imagine the NFL and the Brazilian authorities will be keeping a close eye on the players and families there.
Yeah, but São Paulo is like the Wall Street of Brazil. So I got to imagine that's the reason why they chose it there rather than Rio de Janeiro or anything else. That everywhere else doesn't have the facilities to be able to handle what's coming.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot more involved. I would suspect that you'll see security at its utmost because there's no way, shape, or form, that the NFL would be happy to hear that somebody kidnapped the Philly sports guy.
Yeah. Are you planning on
a lot of people might be happy to hear that, but none of the NFL wouldn't be.
Some of those
I-
radio
I-
reports are static.
Duct tape and everything. That's the first thing. Stop that screaming.
Are you kidding? If they didn't have duct tape, they'd be returning him. They'd be like, you know what? We will pay you to take him back.
That's the truth. That's
A
the truth.
refund
So-
ransom.
So Pags, again, congratulations on Eagles to that. Your friend Debo Samuels throws a little shade the Philadelphia Eagles way. He says, it might have been a rivalry at one time, but he considers it over with since.
Yeah, you got to have close games because I tell you, when we smacked them last year in the NFC Championship game, it wasn't close then either. So
Right.
he could say all he wants. Guess what? Next year, he's going to get a big smackdown. And I hope it's in the NFC Championship game. And I hope he has to play quarterback because we knocked out 3 other of their quarterbacks.
I knew that was coming. There was no doubt in my mind you were going to talk about last year's championship. Debo Samuels, again, I don't know why he's even bothering. He should be concentrating on the Chiefs. not the
Exactly.
Eagles.
That's why they're going to lose. That's why the 49ers are going to blow it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I get to make fun about them all they want because you guys made it to the Super Bowl. Guess what? You guys stunk up the joint.
Yeah, well, I read where the Chiefs are coming in, and they're all about business. They've been there before. They know what's going on. They're not going to be going down the Vegas Strip, and yet the San Francisco 49er linebacker Ward says, I'm going to go out there and enjoy. The first time I've ever been out here, I'm going to go out and enjoy the sights and that. So, I mean, to me, they got to start talking to these players and say, hey, listen, this is about the Super Bowl, not going out to, down the Strip.
Hey, Shanahan's great at losing Super Bowls, isn't he?
I've heard that. I've heard he is, and his record shows that too. So, very.
Well, there's something to be said about consistency, right?
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. So, Pags, will the Eagles? I mean, they got some salary cap issues next year, right? I mean, you got some players.
No, they
making some
don't. What are you talking about?
They were talking about.
They're
Reddick
not the Giants. They're not the Cowboys.
They were talking about Reddick. I'm just telling you what I read. They were talking about Reddick and Smith. Are they going to pay both? Can they afford to pay both? They said Reddick is probably going to be demanding about $20 million a year, and so will.
Why would they have to
will
go after Smith? Why would they have to do
Huh?
anything with Smith? Smith was a rookie this year.
Well, maybe he's looking for money this year, next year.
Well, he can look all he wants. He didn't play that great. Reddick would be the one about getting an extension now. There's no cap issues whatsoever. So I'm not sure that, like I said, they're not the Giants. They're not the Cowboys that are paid their people way too much money and are going to wind up eating cap for years to come. Where we got the capologist of the NFL, Howie Roseman.
Yeah.
So I never have to worry about cap issues ever.
Well, I mean, they find ways around it. They restructure contracts and they do things.
Yeah,
anyway.
everybody follows the Howie Roseman book.
Yeah, well, just as long as they don't follow what happened to the Eagles last year with all those players.
As long as they're not following the way the Giants do, because the Giants stink out loud.
and the Giants
PU.
Stinks so much, killed the Eagles in the last game. So that doesn't.
Oh yeah,
show up.
because everybody was hungover. But that's okay. How did you guys do in the first game? How have you guys done in all of those other games? You've been 26. You've been 27 and 5. 27 and 5 in the last 32 games.
I needed a set list for this so that I could have had like a bowl of popcorn or something.
Seriously,
The
that's
first
what I'm
game-
saying. Like, we were in the
first
wrong
game,
clothes.
if I remember correctly, if you guys
27 and 5 in the last 32 games.
that's pretty good.
27 and 5.
That's pretty good. We went 27 and 5. What are you talking
You
about?
you got the 5 wins out of the last 32 games. Go ahead, mute me.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
care. I don't care what happened in the last 32 games. All I know is we whooped your butt the last game, and we hurt your wide receiver. We knocked Jalen Hurts out. They had to sit him down. I mean, they were so beat up. So, they kind of turned their tail and said, you guys all sit on the bench now.
Oh, guess what? How was the playoffs from the couch? How were the playoffs from the couch?
Well,
That's what you're in Connecticut. You're not even good enough to be in New York.
just as good.
Right, no, we only played 1 week past the regular season. That's it.
Just
1 week.
as good as the Eagles.
Hey,
sat on the couch
listen.
and watched the championship
I
last
wouldn't
night.
expect to hear anything from you Mrs. Carolina. Mrs. Carolina. Hey, listen, you ain't going to sniff the playoffs for years to come. So.
Carolina has some nice music out there in Carolina compared to Philadelphia, Pag. So I don't know.
She lives in Atlanta, so at least maybe there she'll see some winning football.
There's possible. They got the Braves.
Who knows? Raheem Morrison, they pull it off with the right quarterback.
All right. So let's get to some of these comments. Washington has entered the chat. Laugh out loud. Sean thinks the Commanders.
There is a laugh out loud. Definitely.
It is.
They're great to take command there. And we got Arlene. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and good evening to everyone that's watching. There you go. So Sonia, let's get to you and let's talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. As the Super Bowl week started, the media attention that's going on, some of the biggest media attention ever in Super Bowl history. Of course, that has a lot to do with the Kelce and Taylor Swift relationship. All the Swifties coming, watching this. Listen, this is the biggest power couple in all sports right now, Sonia.
Yeah, it certainly is. And the Swifties, you know, they have their own membership, their own fan club for Taylor. And in fact, we've talked a few times throughout the season since they began dating, kind of like right after the first part of the season, how Travis Kelce's jersey sales have gone up, how the networks as a whole have talked about more viewers, women who are never even interested in football, have no idea what a touchdown is. It's just there to see if they show a glimpse of their favorite icon, Miss Taylor Swift herself. And there's even prop bets right now going into the Super Bowl about whether Travis will pop the question. The date of the Super Bowl, 11 and 2 February, the second month, 11 is the date of the Super Bowl, and 13 is her favorite number. It's also Brock Purdy's jersey number. So they're trying to say that Brock would basically break her heart because that's going to be acrimonious for him to win. And it's just a lot, all the way down to Christian McCaffrey's mom and Travis Kelce's mom saying they cannot afford the exorbitant amount of these Super Bowl tickets, despite them being, you know, the number one moms, so to speak, going into the game. And then you have the fiasco, unfortunately, with Patrick Mahomes' father getting his third DUI and now facing prison time because in most states in the United States, a third DUI in a certain time frame equates to a felony. So just a lot going on and a very lot. And then you have the sloppy field over at UNLV that the 49ers have been practicing on this week. They talked about it being soft, mushy. It kind of seems like a conspiracy.
Excuses already.
Talking about players being soft.
Which would be shocking because the Raiders are big rivals of Kansas City. So you would think that they would not be trying to show deference to the other team.
I like that word, deference. Good evening to Jim Jeffcoat. Welcome aboard, Jim. Jim, this is Bo Crouch up in the corner there. He's our
Bo. Yeah, we met before.
All right, you know Bo. That's a new saying. Well, I know Bo. Sonia,
Bo knows everything. Come on.
Yeah,
I saw those commercials back in the 80s.
Yeah, Bo knows.
That's right.
Bo Jackson.
Great comment to me again about the practice field versus the indoor field at Vegas that Kansas City's practicing on. You know, if one of those players get hurt during practice, what happens? I mean, to me, this is supposed to be dealt with, Jim, if I'm right, like in December. They're supposed to be lining up the fields of who's practicing where and what times and who's using what.
Did. I would think they would. I don't think they would have waited till the last minute.
Shouldn't they be flexible enough to, if the weather's bad or the field's bad, to move them somewhere else, to move the 49ers somewhere else?
I mean, in a way, maybe it does favor the 49ers because that Raiders field is kind of trash too. So,
but it's alternatives. They always have alternatives in case the weather's bad.
Right. So I don't know.
Indoor facility somewhere.
Yeah, I would imagine.
From what I understand, that it's a soft field because they had a monster truck event happen there, and that's why the field's a little torn up.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's just like being in San Francisco. They're torn up anyway. So
the field in San Francisco is not
It's
that
not
great.
Candlestick
Well,
Park.
you gotta remember, actually, it's not as bad because you're in the East Bay.
Right.
You're right near San Jose, and it's not like what it was in Frisco.
Right,
That's
Santa
what I
Clara.
was saying.
That's why they should call them the Santa Clara 49ers because
Exactly.
San Francisco's not anywhere near anymore.
Exactly.
The Jersey Giants. I mean,
Yeah,
it makes
Colin
sense.
Kaepernick got hurt out there. Yeah,
Right,
Colin got
the-
hurt at
The Anaheim Cowboys, I think that should be changed also. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, so maybe we'll work on that. We'll talk to the league about that.
Arlington Cowboys.
Yeah, well, yeah, Arlington, Austin, whatever. I mean, nobody knows any.
Well, you said Anaheim, so they're not anywhere near.
Anaheim.
Where is Anaheim? I don't even know where the hell Anaheim. Oh, that's in California.
That's in
There you
California.
go.
I thought
Anaheim.
he was moving the name. I didn't know.
So there you go. So see, me and Sonia just didn't know. We're just asking questions.
Well, that's what they should. They should call them the Anaheim Chargers
Yes, all
because
right.
that stadium is in Anaheim,
Yeah.
Okay.
isn't it? Not? I think it's not
No.
in LA proper. It's in Anaheim or something.
It's in Inglewood.
Inglewood. That's right.
Yeah.
They should be called the Inglewood Chargers.
Yeah,
There you
so
go.
far.
All right. We do have NBA news. We do have the celebrity NBA celebrity All-Star game, I guess is called. Micah Parsons and CJ Stroud will be playing in this game. I knew Micah Parsons would find his way into somewhere else to get some kind of fame and notoriety. So you have him. You have Team Shannon will be coaching one team. Stephen A will be coaching the other. So it should be an outstanding game there anyway. You also have coaching there. You have Peyton Manning and 50 Cents, or 2 quarters, I like to call them. And you also have Aja Wilson and Lil Wayne coaching the other side, Sonia. So, I mean, this should be one hell of a game. What do you think?
You probably use the correct word, hell. It's a lot of entertainers trying to go into this. It's going to be interesting. I know the actual East All-Stars game with Doc Rivers coming in mid-season, he's 1-3, but because he's second right now,
1-4 now.
1-4 now, but the Celtics have the best record. But because you have Joe Mazzulla, who actually was coaching last year, now he's going to be giving that up to Doc Rivers. And how about how Trae Young almost got snubbed in this game and actually is going to be substituting for Joel Embiid, who had his meniscus surgery on yesterday, as well as Randall, who was actually Scotty Barnes, is going to be coming in for Julius Randle. So both of them be playing. Huh?
Shoulder injury with Julius Randle.
Yes, shoulder injury with Julius Randle on the right shoulder.
Oh, is he a Knick? Is he a Knick?
Yes.
Oh, all the Knicks are falling apart. What happened to Brantley? He's dead too, right? He fell apart. He's out for the season or something.
No. That's Embiid you're talking about.
No, Brantley. Brantley got hurt yesterday, did he not?
And
did Brantley just get hurt?
Brunson.
That's him. He's about. They have to shoot him like a horse.
It doesn't matter. We still won. We still won. That's the great thing about it. We still win. And the 76ers, when one player gets hurt, they lose, of course. So anyway, great job on that, Sonia. Jim, we got some Cowboys news in here, and it looks like I'm not saying that he's going to get the job, but a defensive coordinator, an old defensive coordinator, has been interviewed by the Cowboys. Somebody
Ryan.
by the of Ryan, yeah. That you know the Ryan family pretty well, Jim.
Yeah. I like Rex, so he is.
I actually called that. I called that a week ago. I says Rex is going to wind up getting that job. I thought.
I like Rex.
He's been trying to come back for a while. He's made it home.
If the only problem Rex has right now is if he still has that foot fetish, he's got some issues. Other than that,
let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. He can't even close his mouth when he talks. He's got so much work done on his feet. He's gonna be like,
yeah. But you know what? Rex actually is a pretty good defensive coordinator.
No, he is. Yeah,
he is pretty good. And, he's been around, and he's an interesting character. He'll have you cracking up if you spend any time with him. The players will love him. The players, the guys they have, I don't know that much about Ron, but I've worked with Mike Zimmer. I worked with him when he was a position coach and a defensive coordinator. Very intelligent, but he is going to be hard on him.
Very old school.
His personality. He's old school.
Yeah.
You're either going to hate him or you're going to love him.
Right. So Rex Ryan to the Cowboys. Well, not yet. But Rex Ryan to the Cowboys, I mean, I don't know, Jim. You know, when you get out of the coaching for a while and then you go and you sit in the booth for a while, and of course, it's really easy to tell people what they should be doing while you're watching from the booth and watching tape. I mean, do you think that he's lost anything being away from he's been away from the game for a while, Jim?
Yes. I don't know. I don't know because he sees the game different. He can sit back and see some of the things that he's done in the past and can correct some of the mistakes. I think he'd be fine, but they're also going to interview Wink Martindale.
Right.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
and he's had issues with everywhere he's been. Wink, if you think about that, Baltimore, the Giants, and various places. But Wink is also interviewing with Michigan.
Right. Well, you don't want your defensive coordinator going behind your back and talking to the defensive coaches on Dallas, right? That you wouldn't want. I don't know if McCarthy could handle that situation.
Yeah. Well, he'd probably bring those two brothers that he had with him with the Giants,
right?
He gets the job, and he's specifically a linebacker coach, Martindale, and I think that's what they're really looking for because that's an area of concern for the Cowboys is linebackers. So they really want somebody with a linebacker background, aka maybe Ron Rivera. Which, how can you get excited about Ron Rivera?
You can't. Stephen A. did though, and we got a little news about Stephen A. and this may go out to Sean Spencer with the Commanders. Stephen A. Sees racism with the hiring of the white coaches there, getting rid of Bieniemy, bringing in Cliff Kingsbury. I mean, of course, here goes Stephen A. with his racism card again that he loves to play and divide people, and this is how he gets popular. By
the only problem I have with the whole situation is Kansas City requested to have Bieniemy come back for the playoffs, and Washington denied him. Okay. If you had in your mind you weren't going to keep him, let him go. That's the only problem I have. And they let him go. And he probably is going to go back like it's similar to New England when they Nagy when he got let go of Chicago. Where did he go back to? Kansas City, and it's looking like Bieniemy is going to go back to Kansas City. He talked to the team before the Ravens game.
Wow.
Actually, we'd heard today that there is a possibility he may become the offensive coordinator of Colorado.
I don't know. He's been at Colorado before.
Yeah, he got in trouble in Colorado, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He got in trouble at Colorado. And I think they already got an OC. I think they already have an OC.
That was kind of mentioned that it would be a good fit with Prime.
Well, the Patriots are going to be hiring McAdoo, looks like.
Yeah. Ben McAdoo.
As OC.
Yeah, they can have him. They can,
I was going to say that was another Giants guy who just pooped the bed, huh?
Yeah, he was the reason why Eli Manning didn't continue on his streak of playing all those games when he put Geno Smith in there and went against the ownership and everything. So they can have him if they want him. That's no problem as far as I'm concerned. So Jim, a little Mavericks news. Kyrie Irving been playing well for him. Has been. Yeah,
he just came. It's only been 2 games though.
It's true. It's true. But he's been real quiet. He's been pretty humble. As long as he doesn't get out on a boat and, sail off the edge of the earth there, because he still believes the earth is flat.
But the earth flat. Him and Kanye have something in common.
Other than that, he's been doing
ever.
Yeah.
You're right. But him and Luka get along really well. If you
seems that way, yeah.
Well, he's played 2 games, so he's due to do some load management, right? So he's going to miss the next few.
You might be right, but you got to remember, Kyrie is an older player. People forget he's in his
Late
early
30s.
30s.
Yeah, what was his excuse before?
Well,
Maybe he didn't want to play.
a
Who knows?
lot of excuses. In fact, they talked about the Brooklyn Nets a little bit. Of course, he went back and played at the Brooklyn Nets, and he kind of gave the mayor of Brooklyn. He kind of went at him a little bit because he wouldn't get the COVID shot, and they didn't let him play at the home games, and then the Nets turned around and didn't let him play in the away games either. Mm-hmm. So I mean that kind of screwed the Nets. If you want to be honest about the whole
thing. He didn't want to be in the bubble. He didn't want to comply, period. He didn't want to be part of the team. In fact, he deliberately set out because he wasn't trying to do nothing.
Yeah.
But
you have
he didn't want to get the shot. That's okay. He didn't want to get the shot.
Yeah, I mean,
you have your choices. Some people there's a lot of people that don't want to take the shot.
I never got the shot. I never did that.
I didn't either.
So you would not have been able to play in Brooklyn.
That's right. That's right. I agree. Yeah. I agree. And that would have been fine with me too. As long as they keep paying me. I don't care. You're making me sit down. Keep the money coming in, right?
So I don't have a problem with that. There were some of his, things he said, and he's he doesn't eat on certain times because of Ramadan.
Right.
And it saps his energy.
Right.
Because he's fasting and stuff like that. And that's tough playing the NBA, running up and down.
I fast between meals.
But those things, and he's a different guy, but there's always been a lot of different guys in professional sports, and we know it.
I agree. Hi to Rez Macho. Hi to Gary Bartorio
or George.
Good Irish. A good Irishman.
Bartorio.
The Sixers need to sign LeBron. There you go. There you go, Pags. They signed LeBron. Your team is saved.
Yeah, he's not leaving. He's not leaving LA though.
Not with his kids.
No, he's officially come out. He's not leaving, and the Warriors are not trading Klay Thompson, despite all the issues we've seen.
Yeah, there has been a lot of issues with Klay Thompson.
You got a better shot at Durant going.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe.
I agree.
And speaking of Durant, and we were just talking about Irvin, and of course, the guy doing his thing over there, Harden's doing his thing right now with the Clippers. If they could have done something with that, I mean, they picked that team to win the championship when them three guys were there, and they just never could get it together. I mean, between that COVID thing, Harden getting fed up with Irvin eventually, it was a shame because Go ahead.
And I agree with you, everything you're saying, but you got Harden, who's an LA guy, well, really Long Beach, but it's close enough. You got Kyrie, who's playing longer than he's played in the last 2 or 3 years. And then you got Paul George. They're all California kids that grew up in that area, and they are playing well. They're starting to come along.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think Clippers are first in the West.
Yeah. Kyrie Irving, wasn't he from Philly?
No, Kawhi Leonard.
Oh, Kawhi Leonard. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Kyrie's from New Jersey, but Kawhi.
I thought he was a Philly guy.
Yeah, he's from New Jersey. He's from North Jersey.
I have a question. What do you guys think about the trade from Miami to the Hornets of Kyle Lowry? And now it looks like the Hornets are already trying to trade him. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well,
I was excited.
A lot of teams trade for a player just to trade him too.
Take the salary,
right? Yeah. And see if they can get 2 or 3 picks or whatever for that one player. That happens a lot, especially in 3-way trades and stuff like that. You'll see that happen in Sonia. So I'm not surprised about it. I'm surprised. Lowry is a good player. I'm surprised that they.
But he's been struggling the last 1 or 2 years. He's not been the same Kyle Lowry.
No.
He's been struggling, but I got a little excited about him coming to Charlotte, especially when you look at LaMelo Ball, who's there. And then even though he's been struggling, I kind of, his name's kind of big with him coming from Miami and whatnot. And so I was just kind of wondering your thoughts,
No, there you go. All right. So that's our thoughts. It wasn't that much, but we gave you the best we could. So boom.
It's never much about my Carolina teams, Mac. It's like you hate the Carolinas.
All right. Okay, I'll give you.
Well,
I'll give you.
except for the Hurricanes, every one of those Carolina teams stink.
Okay, you guys like the Hurricane?
Well, I listen. I'm a fan of. Hey, listen, I love Rod Brindamore.
Okay, all
All
right.
right. So you
So
got
I
something.
talk good about Rod.
So you got something about the Hurricanes you want to talk about, or what? Yeah, it's not
No,
about
I talked
your shirt. Okay.
No, I
Sonia
talked
was
about
telling
them
us.
yesterday.
Sonia was telling us about a shirt that she got from Bryce Young, and it was the actual size, so it didn't
Matt,
fit her.
no, Matt.
But did you hear what CJ Stroud said about Bryce Young? You know, they've been playing together since they were kids,
15.
7-on-7 and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and he's
but Bryce is still the same size he was at 15 too. Go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
It's got Baby Yoda on the front. It's great.
No, he just said that he defended Bryce Young and said they got to get more talent, which is true around him.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim, for coming. Thank you, Jim. I thank you.
Yeah.
See? Oh.
Yeah, I saw, but I want to get back to Bryce Young's shirt. Do you know that Sonia's even wider than Bryce Young? Just to let you know.
Oh,
I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, I thought
that wasn't very nice of him to say it that way.
It was.
I am definitely. That was very misogynistic.
It's bad on both sides. That's okay.
I was misogynistic. I'm
complaints
calling him out on that.
Right? I'm gonna put a still shot of myself up so everyone can see that I'm not that freaking wide. And
Right.
he's talking about Bryce being small. So I don't know which way to look at that.
So Bryce, whoa, where are we going here? No, but Bryce Young, I want you to put your shirt on, Bryce Young's shirt, and take a still shot of that. That's what I
You're
want.
making it worse. You're making it
And
worse. I have it on. I will.
Hey, listen, she may be very well endowed, and he is not.
I'm leaving this alone. Hey, Bo, how you
doing? Jim, you're right on cue with my wife. She's like moving it along. You're right.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So, Bo, let's get to Bo, and Bo will calm us down because Bo's a very calm person. So we'll have Bo. First of all, Bo is our handicapper on this network. He tells you who to bet. He's normally wrong, but he'll tell you. He'll tell you who to bet anyway. But,
He's just mad because they never pick the Giants because they don't win.
So, Bo, well, don't be playing that. Listen, don't be saying nothing when you're a Seahawk fan, all right? There's nothing to say over there right now. So
they had a better record than the Giants.
What are you talking about?
Oh, my God. We know who's the better team. Anyway, Bo, we need to handicap some of the Super Bowl stuff. Yes, we've got to handicap the Super Bowl stuff here, right? All right. So what are the kind of bets you see coming through that maybe people could actually win with your advice here?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the prop bets are the ones that are probably going to be the easier ones to hit on. Like an anytime pick for Mahomes is minus 100, and I mean, in the last 3 Super Bowls, he's thrown 4 picks. He's only had 5 touchdowns, right? So I mean, he's prone to mistakes in the Super Bowl. So at minus 100, it's a pretty easy bet to take, pretty safe bet to take. So it's kind of those, anytime touchdown by Kelsey, I think is like a minus 150. Again, they're favored, so I mean, you got to put some money on it to win, but the odds are really high that they win.
San Francisco was favored, Bo.
So they're favored straight up. They're a 2-point favorite.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but so I'm actually picking the Niners to win, but yeah, I mean, a lot of the prop bets are the things that I'd play with more than anything.
Okay. Wait, Bo, let me interrupt
you. They have a prop bet on how many times they're going to mention Taylor Swift.
So there probably is a sports book that has it. You can bet that there's going to be a drinking game about it.
Oh yeah.
So Bo,
and hey, listen, I already took the. It was a plus 170. I've got that Travis proposes to Taylor Swift on the field at a plus 170.
Well, at least one of them gets a ring then, right?
Right.
Wow. All right, there you go. So folks, you heard it here. Bo was picking San Francisco. I advise all of you to pick the Chiefs to win the bet. All right. So,
listen, but what I will say, I did some research and I found out a lot of stuff. Reba McEntire is is singing the national anthem. When you check out her, every time that she's sang the national anthem at a sporting event, that the number has been much lower than the projected number on the sports books. So
Wow.
bet the under.
Bet
The
okay.
under for the national anthem.
She doesn't do the long dramatic pause and then hang it out there forever to make
That's
it
like something we were talking about on our show. I know.
Exactly.
But I mentioned this. I mentioned this on our show.
Oh,
The national anthem.
parade.
No,
Like
no,
that?
the home of the. Hold on, I gotta make my bet right.
Make my parlay.
Brave.
There you go.
Hey, there we go.
Parade. Like that? That long?
like
There you go.
Very long. Very
There you
long.
Exactly. You
All
gotta
right,
run
so-
out of air.
So, Bo, that's some of the prop bets you told us about. Of course, there are other bets that say, how many touchdowns, how many yards. I imagine McCaffrey and Pacheco would probably be projected over the yards that they're estimated at getting. And I would imagine Mahomes and probably Purdy, they're going to be people will be picking they throw for more yards than what they're projected of throwing. But I really think I go with Reba here. I think it's going to be a very low scoring game, maybe 17-14, 20-17, something like that. And I think the Chiefs are going to run the ball against the Niners. That's one of the Niners' weaknesses. So they're going to give them plenty of Pacheco. And I think the Niners, who just have a great running game to begin with, I think they might end up throwing the ball more than we think they will, because I think the Chiefs will be preparing for that. How is that?
Well, if that's the case, then that anytime pick odds goes, it will definitely pay out because both those defenses are really good.
Yes.
So, both these teams kind of need to use their running game. And to your point, I think it will be a little bit of a lower scoring game because both these defenses are top 5 defenses.
Yes. And I think they'll be trying to control the clock,
Yeah,
trying to keep. Go ahead, Jim.
No, all I was going to say, don't you think that San Francisco is really good at disguising how they're going to attack you? Because they can attack you in different ways.
They're gonna run McCaffrey, that's for sure.
Yeah, with McCaffrey, but Debo Samuels and stuff
Ayuk.
like that. And they give you a look, and they can do multiple things out of them. And that's the issues that they give everybody. It's old Denver Broncos. It's his dad, how they used to do all of his own blocking.
Well, how do you stop that, Jim? You stop that by blitzing a lot, right? You can run all the motion you want. You can do all the stuff you want to do, but if you blitz them, say more than 50% of the time, you kind of slow that down a little bit.
You slow that down, but then you got to worry about Kelsey and Ayuk.
True.
Well,
Yeah,
you really got to worry about Kittle.
Not Kittle. You're right, Kittle. I meant
you got to worry about Kittle. If you're going to blitz a lot, that is a dynamic outlet receiver there.
Exactly.
You got to get the Purdy. You got to get the Purdy. You got to knock him around, just like the Eagles did in the championship last year. You got to get the Purdy, and you got to hit him. You got to hit that guy. Right.
And you got to disrupt his timing, and that's what really Detroit did in the first half.
Right. Exactly.
They couldn't
Exactly.
continue in the second half. Yeah.
Right.
That's the one thing. That's one of the prop bets that I like. I like for it to be an under in the first quarter. The first quarter is going to maybe end up 0-0.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would almost bet for no touchdowns scored in the first quarter. I know that that's a prop bet out there, but
I don't know
no
if it'd be
touchdowns.
0-0, but I could see no touchdowns. But I think the ball will move enough to at least get a field goal.
I think Mahomes in the first drive, they're very good in the first drive. The Chiefs are really good. Reeves and the Chiefs are really good in that first drive. And last week they got a touchdown out of it. I don't know if they get a touchdown out of it this week or not. But they seem to the way they script the plays in the beginning is really well. And of course, you got Mahomes that can do whatever the heck he wants in the pocket, and him and Kelsey will just make up things as they go along too. So I mean, it's gonna be. Listen, I think this is gonna be a great game. I really do. I think it's gonna be one of the better. Yeah, one of the better Super Bowls in recent history. So we'll see what happens with that.
Well, let's talk. Super Bowl was pretty darn good, though.
Yeah, definitely. Seattle Seahawks Let's talk a little bit about them. They got almost a brand new coaching staff over there, Bo. What do you expect? What do you expect from that coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure to be good immediately, right? There was a lot of success during the Holmgren era, the Carroll era and Holmgren, really. This was a team as it's currently constructed that was in the playoffs last year and missed it by one game this year, right? So this isn't a full rebuild. You got some grace period. You need to be able to win with what's there. So I think they can. I mean, the offense is dynamic. Before, not this past season, but the season before, when that offensive line was healthy, it was a top 10 scoring offense. This last year, they lose their offensive line halfway through the first game. Two of them, both their tackles are on IR until, one of them was until week 14. One of them was week 12. They didn't have their desired front five until week 16. It's tough to get continuity that way. The biggest thing is the defense has been atrocious for the last 5 years. Mike McDonald is a defensive guy. He had that Ravens team playing excellent defense. So if he can elevate this squad to a middle of the road defense, not elite, right? Just middle of the NFL, the Seahawks become a real tough out for anybody facing them.
Question for you. At their position, at their special position players, their wide receiver, quarterback, they're a little old in the tooth right now. You do got that one younger wide receiver, but if you talk about Metcalf, you talk about Lockett, and you talk about Geno Smith, they're a little old in the tooth. What can they do to maybe get some younger people in
Metcalf,
there?
what, 26, 27?
I was like, what are you talking about?
Isn't Metcalf in his late 20s?
No, he's like 26, 27.
Yeah, they got the other kid they got from Ohio State.
Yeah, they got the young kid. Oh, I thought Metcalf was a lot older. Go ahead.
They got JSN, who's a burner. You got Metcalf, who's not that old. Lockett's old, but the way he catches and goes to the ground, he doesn't really take hits. He's got some years left in him. You also have Bobo, who is an undrafted free agent that's fast. He's big. He's shown out every time he's been on the field. So, I mean, as far as their wide receiver group, they don't really have a problem. They have a nice complement of tight ends. They got two good running backs. Whether you like Geno or not, he does play efficient football. He protects the ball. So, I mean, when you look at him this year, his numbers weren't as good as the year before, but he was also one of the most pressured guys in the league. So it's tough if you're running for your life to complete good balls. So, and he still didn't turn the ball over a lot, even with that. So I think Geno will have a better year next year as long as the offensive line can stay healthy. The biggest thing that this team needs is they need their defense to come together. The secondary is not bad, but the linebacking core and your defensive line, they need to they got a lot of work to do there.
Yeah, they argued about Norton and put Hurt in that position, and Hurt wasn't that much of an upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, this defense was designed because they run the 3-4. It was really designed for Jamal Adams to be part of that defense. And unfortunately, he's been hurt all the time. And so what they wanted to use him as, because he's listed on a depth chart as a safety, but they used him as a rover, really, right? As a free roaming, free safety / outside linebacker. And where he's best is, rushing and breaking down on running plays. Yeah, he's terrible in coverage, right? But the problem is because he's been hurt, this defense was designed with that type of player in mind. They didn't have another one to fill that role. So unfortunately, they ended up with a lot of linebackers coming down to try and play the line. And you're going to lose that battle every time because those linemen are big dudes. And your outside linebackers aren't going to move those guys typically.
Interesting. The Jets really made out better on that trade than Seattle did so far, anyway, for sure. So I mean, not really. None of those players are still on their team. No, all those the draft picks they got, Bo. I think they got a few draft picks off of that alone. They did. They got two number ones, and then they got a couple of players, and I don't think they actually still have any of them. I think they have. I take that back. I think they have one of their first rounders. All right. Okay. All right.
But,
And Bubbles,
so-
good evening. Go
So
Birds.
really,
I
neither
mean,
team came out on that.
Bubbles.
Bubbles, go Birds. I think she's talking about the Seahawks, not the Eagles. Just to let you know, Bags. So.
No, it's an Eagles fan.
No,
She
that's
came
an
from
Eagles.
my page.
Yeah,
What are you
that's
talking
Eagles.
about?
Is she your
It'll say
your
go Hawks
stylist?
if it's a Seahawk thing.
Is she your hairstylist?
No, I have no idea who Bubbles is.
Okay. All right. So the Seattle Seahawks fans were kind of giving Geno the business over throwing 3 interceptions in the Pro Bowl. So I don't know what the Seahawk fans are. They're upset with Geno.
Yeah, I didn't watch that crap.
I didn't even
Pro
notice.
Bowl is the worst. It's like
Right? I can't
the
do
Pro
it.
Bowl is nothing but a glorified flag football, and now
Well,
they
it
got like
actually is
obstacle courses and stuff set up throughout
Yeah.
the week for other stuff. I don't know if it's the Olympics of the NFL or what, but it's
Yeah,
But they are going
I told them what to do. I
Yeah.
told them what
No,
to do.
It's
They
funny
didn't
though.
listen
The
to
Pro
you
Bowl
guys?
is
Wow.
the Pro Bowl is so terrible. And it actually is a flag football game now, which is terrible. But I mean, even the skills challenges, there used to be where it'd be, the bench press and stuff like that. And now they play, they had water balloon toss. I'm just, I mean, I'm sure the players had fun, but I'm not.
they're out there catching hot dogs in their mouths right now. It's horrible.
Wow. That is a talent. That is definitely a
They
talent.
call it diving for dogs. They're like,
Yeah, definitely a talent.
I
Okay. All right.
I got nothing for that.
I didn't watch it or care to watch
I'm
it.
gonna let it sit there. So as an offensive coordinator, Bo, from what I've seen, they've been looking at Eric Bieniemy was named as one of them, and Chip Kelly also. He's been kicked
They
around
interviewed
a
him
couple
yesterday,
times.
right?
Yeah.
What's that?
They interviewed Chip Kelly yesterday, correct?
Yeah. So Chip Kelly's in there, Bieniemy's in there. I would prefer, like, if you were going between those, I would prefer Bieniemy over Kelly, just because I don't like Kelly as a person typically. But they're also talking about bringing in Grubb, who was with the Huskies and just went down to Alabama.
Yeah,
So
I saw that.
So they're talking about potentially bringing him back, and that could make a lot of sense if they used that 16th pick to maybe go after Penix, right? Because he was his offensive coordinator, right? So if they wanted to make a play for a quarterback, that could work. Granted, you're really hoping that offensive line stays healthy because he's not the most mobile quarterback ever. But you could go after a guy like Bo Nix, who's a little bit more mobile, doesn't throw as good of a ball though. So you got some decisions to make there.
Didn't Bo Nix struggle in the Senior Bowl?
Yeah. Well, and that's why I say he doesn't throw as good of a ball, but he is more mobile, so he can do some things. But that being said, I do think they ultimately go after a quarterback because Drew Lock, I think, did just enough in the starts that he had and the time that he played that another team will offer him more than the Hawks can because they do have some cap issues.
Well, I'll tell
and
you,
Penix will still be there. He will definitely still be there in the draft. I'm thinking because he would have dropped, with everything that,
Bo Nix threw very good during the regular season. I don't give a damn about the about that little bowl game they played. And everybody has a bad game. He threw really well.
He was actually kind of slated to go early second round even before that.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Bo Nix is 30 years old.
Yes, he is.
What?
He's 42. Really?
They lied
on.
Like 10 years of college eligibility.
He's
10 years of college eligibility.
I like that you're already getting him tennis balls for his walker. He's not quite that old. Like, come on.
Yeah, like 10 years of college eligibility.
He played at Auburn. What he played 3 or 4 years at Auburn, and then goes to Oregon and played 2 years. So that's what 6 years.
Yeah, I think he's 25. I think he's 25.
Experienced quarterback. There you go. I don't know. Seahawks, the Seattle Mariners, have claimed. You got to help me with this. Najibe, they claimed his brother, and he's a wide receiver, the wide receiver of the Seattle Seahawks. So Seattle fans should be happy with that, right?
I mean, you're as happy as you can be for the Mariners. I mean, I love my team. I want them to do something, but every time they start to get good, they ship everybody out of town, and so we'll see.
All right.
They had a run there at the end of the season last year. They almost.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. That's why I started the hashtag years ago, from hope to nope, right? Because in spring training, they kill it. Absolutely look awesome in spring training. And then they forget how to play baseball for April. And then, they kind of do okay. All-Star break comes. They forget how to play baseball for 3 weeks. And then they win just enough to make you feel like maybe they could make the playoffs, to then lose it by 1 to 5 games. And that is the Mariners for the last 20 plus years.
Sonia, to let you know, there's some guy behind you in where you're at right there in the locker room. There's some guy in the doorway. I don't know if he's looking at you. There he is. Yeah, see?
Oh,
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, that's our quarterback whisperer, because we're the little good luck. So yeah, guys, this is my locker room, the Panthers locker room. It's a little.
Oh, I thought it was Cam Newton.
No, not Cam. Not Cam.
Oh, is he jumping away from a football or something?
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
we're trying to stay out this chaotic locker room. Thanks, Mac.
All right, no problem. Listen, I always save the best for last, so let's start talking a little Giants, Knicks, and Yankees. I know, Pat.
I gotta go, guys. I'll talk to you later. Because this is the loser part of the show.
This is the best part of the whole show. So we're going to talk a little bit about, of course, the Giants. The Giants are going to probably promote Kafka to the offensive coordinator, because since they kind of denied him to go on interviews. So they're going to give him a. They're going to
sorry,
let
I
him
laughed out loud. My bad.
That's all right. Now look, I got 2 of them I got to deal with now, Jim. Right?
Exactly. Bye, guys.
All right, take care, Pags. So anyway,
1 week in the postseason, and he's thinking they got like a brass ring or something.
I know. And we beat him almost twice. Yeah, he fails.
Everybody did except for us.
Understand that? That's okay.
Well, I'm telling you what. We talk about the NFC West. The NFC East is going to be a headache this year.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. We thought that was going to be this year, last year, but that didn't happen. So hopefully they kind of get better. Anyway, so Saquon Barkley again says he wants to be a Giant for life. It looks like the Giants are probably going to franchise tag him again. They got one more franchise tag for him. So that's what people are saying.
Well, they didn't actually use it last year, though. He signed it, ended up signing a 1 year. Yeah, they ended up signing a 1 year.
They took it off of him for him to sign, correct?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, so they could actually, they still have all their franchise tags if they want.
So there you go. Maybe they'll franchise him again and again. Just keep signing. He'll be 38 years old, and we'll franchise him then too. So there you go. That's maybe what we'll do with Saquon.
Man, that's a good way to make an angry. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it'll make him run harder. I don't know.
Hey, listen. Listen, you're still making $10 million a year on that franchise tag. It's not like they're giving you only $1 million, right? So I mean, all well and good. I mean, and the only problem is injury, right? If he gets injured, then that's the only problem with that. The security. I didn't know if you heard Eli's rap. Eli was rapping. Contest. Yeah, he did
beat
rap
twice in the Super Bowl.
Yes, he said, "I'm Eli Manning. I'm really nice. Tom Brady's a GOAT. I beat him twice." So there you go. That was his rap. So there you go. So anyway, yes,
they went crazy over that.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
How do you think Tom Brady is going to be as an announcer? He can't be
thinking that, Jim. You read my mind.
Yeah, we talked about that, I think, a little bit. I don't know if it was on this show, but we've talked about that a little bit. Listen, Tom Brady's got to be as emotional as he was to a quarterback for me to be entertaining. He can't sit back and not say things about the players he played with or the coaches. Yeah. He's got to be able to go out, and that might be hard for him to do. It was hard for Johnny Unitas. It was hard for some of the other great players that were announcers.
I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine, because I mean, even in that instance, he came out 2 months ago and was talking about just how soft the league is as a whole. Right? And
I agree.
He got some pushback on that, because they're like, "How are you talking? Like, you just quit."
And you're one of the reasons. And you're one of the reasons. And you're one of the reasons why we made all these rules for the quarterback too, was because of Tom Brady too, right?
Exactly.
So
And I don't like how he's coming in pushing Greg Olson back, because I thought Greg brought a great energy, even though people say he talks over the novice fan. I mean, I was Googling a few things that he was saying, but I love Greg. You know, I guess it's the Panther connection, but he was very energetic, and I just don't see Tom being that energetic as an announcer. I just don't see
You know
that.
what Tom did was smart. He took a year off and he watched, and that was smart. on
They
his
said they
side.
were training him, and he was in some
Yeah,
classes, but
exactly.
wait a minute. We were just talking about the Giants, and now we're talking about Tom Brady, Jim.
You brought up Eli Manning and Tom
Listen,
Brady.
I did, but
Well, I mean,
Eli
that's
is not-
because there's not a lot to talk about.
Wow. I know. Listen, I know your Seahawks has gone to so many Super Bowls, so you got a reason to talk there, I guess.
Well, we're so obsessed with that number 12. We had to go 1 and 2 in Super Bowls to keep that alive.
That's true. That's true. But all I know is what we got 4, and you got how many?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all-
We just
that's
got
all
the
I
one. Just got
That's
the
all I
one.
gotta-
That's
that's
why
all I
you
gotta
size
say.
it for your middle finger.
I'm the only one with none. I'm the only one with none.
Bo's pretty funny, isn't he? Bo's pretty funny. He's not coming on the show again. I just tell you that right now.
Oh, wow.
I figured it was one and done. It's all right.
We brought this up with Pags earlier. Of course, the Knicks are all banged up. They continue to win. They're 15-2 in their last 17 games.
Yeah.
Brunson gets an injury. It's not serious. It'd be game to game whether he plays or not. I would imagine they're going to rest him at least a little bit. So right now you got Brunson, Randall. Huh?
I think they play the Mavericks.
Yeah, they're playing Dallas. They're playing Dallas.
They play Thursday against the Mavericks. No, they play they play in New York.
They're playing in New York. Yes. So anyway, we'll see if the Knicks can keep winning despite losing all these players. There's got to be a trade coming this way. They've been talking about for a while. Talking about maybe Murray. They've been talking about Brogdon. Those two players mostly. We'll see if that happens. And DiVincenzo, he's been playing 28 points last night, picking it up for the Knicks. Part of that Villanova connection. That was a heck of a. They made some really good moves. The Knicks with that new president of operations there. He's been really doing good for the Knicks. So far so good for that.
I keep expecting it to be kind of the Linsanity thing, though, where it goes for like a few games and then kind of falls apart.
Yeah,
but he's been around the league a little bit, DiVincenzo, and he's played well.
Yeah. He's just. I mean, I think he's getting more of a chance to play with the Knicks.
I think it's just because I don't trust the Knicks. It's really what it is.
Yeah.
Well,
I always expect them to just kind of fall apart. You watch them and you're like, okay, here we go. They're starting to do something, and then
crumble.
Well, last year they won the first time in a long time. They won their first playoff series. This year, I expect them to at least go back to the playoffs. And if they can win 2, I'm happy. That's a step in the right direction. So hopefully everybody gets back healthy and for that time anyway. The Yankees pick up a reliever. They pick up Caleb Ferguson from the Dodgers. Very good reliever, but they do the same thing every year. They get a bunch of relief pitchers and they don't get a starter. And by the time the end of the year rolls around, the bullpen shot and they end up losing at the end of the year.
At the end of the year, I'm crying.
I don't know why they continue to do the same thing over and over again. Boston, they got their GM back. But trying to remember his name. Bo, help me here. Epstein. Epstein comes back to the Red Sox after they cut him. Yeah, Theo's back. So that watch out for the Red Sox. I'll tell you that right now. He's one heck of a GM. So that should be interesting. So, guys, we're coming near the top of the show. Right after this, NFC East with Pags will be on, followed by JB Talking Shop with Jim and Byron, followed by Sonia Pearson with her show. So listen, stay on Roku. Bunch of great shows coming your way. Thanks, Bo, for coming in. It was a blast having you here. Thanks to Pat.
for having me.
Sonia doing a good job as always, and Jim again for coming in. You all have a great Wednesday night, and we'll see you on Northeast Streaming Sports Roku channel. Just turn it on, and there we are. Have a great night, everybody.
All right. Have a good evening.